Oh my. Oh, where's my camera? Oh no. Camera. Camera's gone. Everything's broken. There we go. We're back. Oh my god. 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 I do not think I will ever calm down from that. I really, really don't. I don't know. I've never, ever in sports seen something like that. I've never have. I never have. 3 goals in 7 minutes. I'm in my office today, and it was everything I could do. It was everything I could do to not just destroy the whole place. It was absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. And whew, oh my God. You know, I was asking during the game, like before the game, or maybe it was in the beginning. I was saying, did we ever have like an easy walkthrough? And then we had the first half, the first 65 minutes, and I was like, we're good. It's a nice, easy game. It's a nice, easy game. And then what happened, and I never have ever seen anything like that. 3 goals, 7 minutes. You can't write it. There's what can you even do, man? What can you even do? What can you even do? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. There's a lot of similarities growing. There's a lot of similarities growing. When you want to talk about a Sir Alex regen, we might actually have it. The absolute shit fest that we are going through, and some of the insanity of something like this. I don't know, man. That was more Fergie time than Fergie time than we've had. I mean, I just I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled. I've never. It's impossible. It's impossible. It is impossible. You know. And look, the reality of it, like that was better than Madrid comebacks in terms. I understand the opposition. I understand where we're at, but realize who got the comebacks. A penalty from a washed Casemiro. Pardon me, Casemiro. I'm not trying to be insulting right now. A penalty from a washed Casemiro. Mainu at striker. Amaranth and Maguire at striker. That's who's making our comebacks. We don't have Mbappe's and Vinicius's and Gareth Bale's and Cristiano Ronaldo's making our 3 goal comebacks in 7 minutes. We've got Harry Maguire up front, and we've got Kobbie Mainoo at the 9. We have to fix the attack, though. This all happens. I don't want to hear shit about this. I don't want to hear shit about this. It all happens. All happens because we cannot score goals. Look at who we need to score our goals. You asked me in the beginning of the game on the stream in the pre-match who was going to score the goals, and I said, don't know, but we'll get goals from other people. So who scored them? Ugarte scores the opener and had probably his best game at United, by the way. By the way, I'm going to take a little victory lap on that. Had probably his best game at United. I think probably the only mistake Emra makes is taking him off. But he's not suspended for the second leg or for the first leg of the next one. He didn't get a yellow today, so he can play in the next game. Ugarte scores. Dallo scores. Bruno scores a penalty. Mainu scores at striker. And Harry Maguire scores at striker. Where's our forwards, man? Where is our forwards? Where are they? Where are they? What are they doing, man? Because that game should have been put away, same as it should have in the first leg. That game should have been dead and buried ages ago. You know what I mean? It should have been dead and buried ages ago. We probably threw away 2-3 good chances, like clear. I mean, when Garnacho is one-on-one with the keeper and misses it, it all changes from that moment. It all changes from that moment. And everything changes from there. And it's like It's just they change the entire narrative of the discussion on everything, you know? And it's like it changes the entire narrative when things like that happen, and then it's like, oh my god, we got to put Harry at striker, oh my god, we got to put Mainu at striker, and it's like all of that, and it's like, this is what your guys do, you know um but it changes the entire narrative, and it's funny because when we were watching, I said it at 2-0 when Garnacho missed that chance. I said, those are the chances you have to remember, because people are gonna, if Lyon come back in this game, people will say, "Oh my God, inviting pressure, blah blah blah." Fuck off, honestly, fuck off. But that's what they were gonna say. That's what they were gonna say. I knew it. I said it at 2-0. I said, when you miss those chances, that's what's going to happen. If a team comes back, you're going to say, oh, inviting pressure, blah, blah, blah. It's reactive, it's results-based analysis, and it's bullshit. Because you put that away. You were defending a 2-goal lead well. You created good chances. You should have put it to bed, and you don't. And now it becomes bad? No, it wasn't bad. We were completely in control of the game and through that moment. And then they just collapse. And it just goes to show we need players. We need players. We need so many players. Højlund was better than Garnacho this game. He was actually. He did better this game than he was before, but he doesn't ever look like scoring a goal, unfortunately. And Kobbie Mainoo did, and that's the difference. And when you look at Lyon, right? When you look at Lyon, you look at the goals that they score, you look at the goals that they score, we won't finish those chances. Our forwards don't finish those chances. Nobody's finishing that shot that Turkey makes. Nobody. From top of the box, fired hard into the corner like that, none of our forwards will finish that chance. None. They won't do it. They will not score that goal. It doesn't happen. You know what I mean? None of them will even finish it on a tap-in from 5 yards out in the forwards. It's always our defenders and our midfielders who are making things happen. We need forwards, man, but massive, massive, massive praise to these guys who did it, because the mentality to come back in that is unbelievable. It's on another planet. We were winning games like this last season. Yeah, I mean, we had late ones, like the one against Wolves, but now it matters, and it just shows the same problem. The issue is, ever since Rashford stopped scoring in Ten Hag's first season, we haven't had anybody scoring goals when we need it. We have the worst forwards in the game. We really do. I'm sorry to say. We just do. We have the worst forwards in the game. I mean, you'd have to drop down. I don't know who they would start for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really, truly don't. I don't know who they would start for. I'm starting to really, really wonder with they're not starting at Lyon. They're not starting at Lyon. They're just not. They're not starting over Cherki. They're not starting over Fofana. They're not starting even over Lacazette when you watch that. Like, honestly, those guys come on and play better, in that case. And just crazy. It was insane. It's absolute insanity. Oh man. Whew. I just an absolute madness. I've never seen anything like it. I really haven't. I don't know what to say. Um, have we ever, honestly, have we ever seen anything like that as a United fan? I really don't think we have. Like, can I acknowledge Mainoo? I 100% acknowledge Mainoo, but bear in mind the state of the game. He couldn't get into it until that point. But I said when he came on, I supported the sub, and I said that it was a good sub in the watch along. I said I think Mainoo is probably a good choice there because he can control the ball in tight spaces, and that's exactly what he did. He's so good in tight spaces that if you can dominate possession and get him involved around the box, then he will score goals, and he will create things, and he will make things happen. So, crazy. Absolutely crazy. The head loss to Bedlam swing, it was unbelievable. Mazraoui, I don't know, maybe he was injured or something like that, but close to the 28-3. I don't know, man, because I feel like 3 goals in football is harder. Has it ever happened? Has it ever happened? Like, I'm racking my brain trying to think of a comeback. You know what I mean? Like, City versus Madrid, they scored what, two after the 90th minute in the Champions League semifinals last year? Was it last year or 2 years ago? That's the one that I could think closest. They scored two at 90 and 94 or something like that, right? That was probably the closest to this. And this was better. Liverpool versus Arsenal, but they had a whole game. They had a whole game. You know, they had a whole game. I mean, remontada and all of that kind of stuff. But like in three in yeah, sure, it's not a final obviously, but in 7 minutes, um, Barcelona versus PSG, yeah, and that might be the one, right? The La Remontada might be the one. Is probably the closest one. But they had the whole game's what I'm saying, because they had the aggregate. You know what I mean? Um, that's kind of my point. Is like at that point you had the whole game to do it, even though the goals came towards the end. You had the whole game to do it. We were down with 5 minutes left, and we scored the three goals. You know, right there. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's just you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. It generally reminded me of Coventry. Yeah. I'm just in another world, man. I there's nothing else to say. First team in history to score two goals in the 120th minute of a major European match. First team in history. In history. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell, dude? I am I am absolutely spent on that. It's just absolute madness. You were there, 99. Good for you. Are you still high on Turkey? I thought Turkey had a really good game. I thought his second leg was a lot better than his first one. He was really dangerous tonight. He found himself in a lot of really good positions. I thought did Turkey. I thought he was actually really really good. I thought he was great. Yeah, I actually thought he was very very good. I don't think Leon are that good of a team, but he was making everything happen. He was making everything happen for Leon. I think he's got an incredible IQ. Yeah, I mean 99's bigger because I thought it's the fucking treble, and it's like, come on. But obviously for the moment, but this is worth mentioning. Um, but no, I think Turkey's really good. I mean, he's miles and miles above our forwards. Like I said, no one's finishing that chance that he scores. Nobody in our team. Just first time, just first time done. You know, just first time smashed it in the corner where nobody else is doing that. It's crazy. So yeah, I think Turkey was the best player for them. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Well, time goes on. You know, we're still moving. I honestly think that it's hard to estimate how good these teams are. I mean, Bilbao were fairly mediocre over the two legs against Rangers. Um, but at the same time, like, I don't know. The thing about giving up all these goals to Leon that's insane is like it's just madness. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just madness. It's just crazy because the game should be over by that point in time. And anything can happen when you don't put the game to bed. Absolutely anything can happen. Um just mental insanity. I thought Turkey was good. I thought he was quiet in the first leg, but I think the second leg he was fantastic. But look, I mean, if you ask, like, I'm gonna ask you a question, and then this is what I said beforehand when I was talking about us getting up. I'm not depressed, but you could imagine my emotional levels have come to a bottom. Um, take this game and just throw Osimhen in there. It ends 5-0. I mean it. It ends 5-0. Take this game, throw Cunha in there. It ends 5-0. It does. It just does, you know? And it's like it's hard to it's like it's hard to put your finger on it and to spot it and to realize how much game is changed by the moments where we throw it away. It was the same in the first leg. There was a couple of counters, you know, in the first leg where, you know, there's the one with Garnacho and Xerxes and he just completely bottled it. Like we've thrown away like you have to think with Lyon, right? They essentially end up, you know, scoring like half chances, every chance, lucky chances, all of that. What do? We score far fewer, and far fewer, and it's Kuna, Delap, or Osimhen, Turkey. That's a good question. What do you guys think? Delap would have been done really well in this game too. Which would you prefer? I know what I prefer, but I'm gonna leave this to you guys. I think it's a fair question. Not that it's a reality. Dorgu, Garnacho, and Dalo wasted 3 good chances. Yeah, and they should have passed to Rasmus and all that too. Yep. The Garnacho chance was worth more than a penalty. Yep. I mean, that is how insane it is, man. Like, we missed a penalty to put the game away. We missed better than a penalty to put the game again. I take Osimhen Turkey, too. I'm glad the chat is with me on that one in terms of the vote, because you have the potential for 2 of the best players in Europe. Right there. Like, people got to recognize just how good. Ruben says we'll prioritize Europa League games from now on and kids will get games in the Premier League. Yes, Cheeto will very likely play on Sunday. So enjoy that. Enjoy that. We have to focus on the Premier League. Yeah. I mean, we have to focus on the Europa League. Cheeto will very likely be playing on Sunday. That was kind of the word earlier. In the pre-match, I was talking about this, that we were going to get kids going the rest of the Premier League season. So that's the plan now. We got 6 games, man. We get 6 games to get the kids going in the Premier League. That's good. That's good stuff. That's a really good experience for some of these guys. So, Cheeto, you know, Morehouse probably gets a run out. Kakonki, perhaps. You know, obviously we'll hope Mantato will get in there soon and have whatever's needed to be sorted out there. It's crazy. So nearly 4 in the morning in Nepal. Well, I hope it's a good night. It's a good night. Oh my God, you guys. I'm on it's like absolutely spent. Like the emotional roller coaster. Oh my God. Nothing else like it. There is absolutely just nothing else like it. Lindelof had a personal issue and had to leave? Is that real? I hope he's okay. I hope something's okay. Amram says Lindelof had a personal issue and had to leave. So you look at some of the things here, right? Like some of the criticisms that go on, and I say that, you know, of the manager, and you say you don't know, like Shaw was bad. I'm not saying Lindelof would have been better, but Shaw was bad. Sully said Heaven, Ahmad, and Delic probably make the semis, yeah. Shaw was bad and ended up giving away a pen, and he was really poor coming on. There's all the chances in the world that Ruben Amorim didn't think Shaw was ready and put him on anyway, because he had to. You know what I'm saying? There's all the chance in the world that that's the case. And that he was going to think to have to sub on Lindelof for Mazraoui. Again, not a great choice, but what you have to do. But if that is a real quote, which I think it is. I mean, I just saw it from a very large account. Um, that's strange. Strange. Yeah, from Sam Winterburn said that. If that's a real quote, I hope everything's okay because you can, you don't want like a family issues or anything like that. I think his wife might be pregnant even, so hopefully it's all okay there. Um, yeah, I mean Shaw was rough. Was rough. Amos was okay. I mean, look, at the end of the day, let's be real. Why did we win it at the end? Um, Casemiro finally stepped up. I thought he had a bad game, and he gave away the goal to Leon right before that. Casemiro stepped up big time, and then um, Maguire and Mainu and Bruno. Casemiro stepped up. If he'd stepped up earlier, we might not have been in that situation, mind you. I'm not forgiving him entirely because he was shit before that. but but in that moment, he stepped up and made a big difference right then and there. But you know, maybe he could have been better earlier, and it would have helped my blood pressure. You know what I mean? But hey, it's all good. I think Onana did well enough, as you would expect from a keeper. Is it well enough to remove doubts from him? No, I don't think so. I think it was poor on the last two goals, especially. I think he did a bad job on maybe on one of them or both of them. I don't know, but yeah, I think he did okay. Um, so yeah, I think he did okay, but nothing fantastic. But oh man, oh brother, that was crazy. I don't know. I don't know what to think, man. Wild, absolutely wild. Wilcox won on Hammer's head after the Lacazette penalty. No, I don't think it's that. I think that there's a lot of people at United that know just how bad some of the players are. You know what I mean? They do. And I think it was a lot to do with that. Just trying to find my taking off Ugarte annoys me and leave Casemiro in there alone. Well, what he was trying to do was make sure he didn't get a yellow so he wouldn't be suspended because we were defending a lot. And you kind of have to do that, but Mainu doing the Xerxes celebration too. I love to see that. I love to see that camaraderie, the Xerxes celebration from him. That was something. That was something. Maguire should have got a pen. I think he should have as well. Yeah, I think he should have. He got dragged down too. I mean, it was at least as soft as the one they got. You know what I wanted to say too? There was a on one of Lyon's goals. On one of Lyon's goals, I think it was the one that Turkey scores. Fofana falls down and actually takes Shaw out. I think that's a foul. Because it's a clean tackle from I don't remember who it was, but it's a clean tackle, and then um what was it? It was a clean tackle, and then uh, Fofana falls down, slams into Luke Shaw's leg, takes him out, and that leaves the ball free for Turkey to shoot. I think that's a foul. I don't know why that was not called in real time. I don't know why that was not called in real time, because that was definitely a foul for me. Um, you know, um, it was definitely was. Um, yeah, I mean those type of things are regularly a foul. Yeah, Kone will probably get a debut too. Yeah, Kone will definitely get a debut as well. I missed it. I was too busy moaning about our performance on. It's all right. It is okay. Oh my god. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Leon are better than. I think they are too. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not sure. Like when after watching Sociedad, they're very. They were the Spanish club. Like I'm not. You look at. I think the Spanish clubs are actually really weak at the moment. Like you look at Madrid, right? They got absolutely bullied by Arsenal. And I think that La Liga at this point is on a bit of a low, in my opinion. In general, Barcelona are very good. Like at the top, away from the rest, I think Barcelona are very good. But a bit weak. Bilbao have a couple strong forwards that I would worry about, but they're not like I worry about the forwards, but I don't worry about the rest of them so much. And I think that I was surprised by how easy Sociedad was. Like I understand, but I just I was surprised at how easy Sociedad was, and it changed my mind a little bit. I think Inter will win the Champions League as well. I get that they're ahead of Sociedad, but I just don't think they're that good. Um, I just don't think they're that good. Yeah, I just don't. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Well, Ahmad posted that is crazy. He says United will never die. Congrats, Manu, for your shit goal. Fuck Garna for that miss. You gave us pain in our hearts. God, Ahmad is absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Man, really, we just went on Twitter and said "fuck Garnacho" like that, but obviously in a good team spirit kind of way, obviously. But that was I love that. I love that. We put Maguire up front because he's the only one capable of scoring with his head. It's true, isn't it? It's true. Oh man, it was insanity. Um, I'd love to see how many times Garnacho lost the ball. I don't know. I don't know. Let me check some numbers here. This I'm not trying to discount Bilbao. Okay, but I agree with that take right there. I'm more I Spurs in the final. I am not looking forward to it if we get there. I'm really not looking forward to it because like come on, man. Oh man. We just need better forwards, guys. I don't know what else to say anymore about this club, you know. If you can't see it now, then you just don't want to. It's everything. It is every moment. It's every piece of this game. Um, we need better forwards. Yeah, we can't be the ones that give Spurs a trophy for sure. I honestly worry more about Spurs than Bilbao. I'm not saying we'll beat Bilbao. I'm saying I worry about that. I think our home leg is already the second leg, by the way. From there was a schedule or something released earlier, and we play at home in the second leg again, from what I recall. Um, you know, we are away first again, which I think is a good thing. You just see my reaction to Maguire's goal, did you? I have to go get a clip from Big Up because that was something. Omar, no, never mind. That's a fake source. I don't want to say anything with that. Man, just insanity. That I don't know. I think we'll beat Bilbao. I do. I think we'll beat Bilbao. I really do. I think we can. But I genuinely worry about Spurs more. Um, and I think that one of the reasons I feel better about Bilbao is we have a genuine chance. We have a genuine chance at Ahmad being back for that. You know, we should have a lot more options. We should have Aid in Heaven. We should have that. We get a reset on yellow cards, which is good. Um, you know, yeah. So we'll have some players back. We could have Ahmad back. We could have Ahmad back. We really, really could. Bodo Glimt went through apparently, right? Bodo on pens. That's crazy. What a run from them they're having, you know. And we beat them easily, didn't we? So I think that's an interesting test. I mean, did we beat them? Why do I feel like we beat them? Did we play them? We did, right? In the first or second game of the Europa campaign. Did I say Casemiro had a bad game? Absolutely, he had a bad game. Absolutely, he had a bad game. He was terrible until the 118th, 114th minute when he got that when he won the penalty. He had a bad game. He was getting ran through for 60 minutes. And that's why we conceded so many when Ugarte came off too. You know, he had a bad game. He had absolutely had a bad game up until that point. he was nowhere to be seen until our comeback. He was bad. That's the funny part. Like people never seem to notice it, and that's part of the whole narrative around Ugarte. It's so wild. He had a poor game up until that point. He was getting nutmegged all over the place, kicking the ball out of play. It's crazy. It's crazy. He had a poor game up until then, and he gave the ball away for their penalty to make it 4-2 as well. He passed it straight back to them. People never remember that. Never remember that. He literally gave them the ball to go up 4-2 right before that. You know, zero comments on it. Zero comments on it. And it's okay. He made up for it. He made up for it in the last 7 minutes. The random handball was Casemiro too. That led to one of the goals as well. Yep. But he was also poor. He was just, I'm sorry to tell you that. He was poor. You rewatch that game with a focus on Casemiro, you'll see it. He was getting nutmegged and run through in the midfield all over the place. He had a couple good passes. But he had a poor game until the 114th minute. Yeah. And then he was in another planet. He got dribbled past 3 times in the first half. I went through it on the stats in the first half. He was losing the ball a lot, and he was getting dribbled through. He was absolutely not brilliant, but he was very good in the last 10 minutes of the game. Well, 7 minutes of the game, I should say. You know, but because of the end of it, he was huge. He showed up in those 7 minutes when we needed him, and that's all good. That is all good to me. I'm so happy that he did that, you know, and full praise and credit to him. But we got way worse when Ugarte came off. We started conceding shitloads of goals the second Ugarte came off. That's not an accident. When Casemiro is alone in that midfield, he has serious problems. But he showed up. He showed up at the end. And that's all good. I mean, there was a lot of a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes made during like the 70 minutes to like 110 minutes section. Maguire made a couple mistakes too. Maguire was insane for about the first half. Was insane in the first half. Was pretty poor from about 70 to 90 and then won us the game as well. So it's not like it's only that. I always I'm actually fairly objective about how I assess players. I thought that Shaw was really bad. I thought Dalot had a really, really bad game too. After his goal, Dalot was really bad. Dorgu was poor. Shaw was horrendous when he came on, surprisingly so. Lenny was really good, made a few mistakes, but was unbelievable in certain aspects as well. It was Bodø/Glimt was Amram first, but I thought so. Yeah, Dalot after the goal was really poor. And then Højlund was better than Garnacho tonight. Significantly better than Garnacho tonight. I'm not saying it was good enough, because he's just not ever a threat on goal, Rasmus Højlund. He's just not. He's not a threat ever. But he was better than Garnacho. Garnacho nearly threw the entire game away, time and time again, and it's I can't keep watching it. It's seriously painful. It's like, it's crazy watching extra time back while you talk. See, that's the thing, Jacob. Like, this is the point I try to make. Okay, this is the point that I'm trying to make. Okay, this is where people don't judge things appropriately. Why were we able to sit on and press and control the game against Lyon for a while? Because of Ugarte's pressing, because of his energy, because of his legs, because of his ball winning. Even down to 10, we couldn't control the game with Ugarte not on the pitch. That's why I say when someone has a good game or a bad game or how the team works and things like that, Casemiro couldn't get us the ball back. He can drop deep and defend in the box, but he's not a control player. But he showed up in the final third, where he also tends to be really good. He tends to be really good in the attacking areas, which is a bit of a paradox. It's like, if I were to take Casemiro, I would say, if you put him in the final third and you put him in our final third, I like him. Anywhere in between, he's shit. And he doesn't have the legs to cover it. You know what I mean? That's shit may be harsh, but he doesn't have the legs to cover it in between. But in the thirds, he's really good, and that's a little bit of a hard thing to deal with sometimes. It's a little bit of a hard thing to deal with sometimes, but yeah, it's a big reason why, because I agree with you. We looked like the team down a man for most of all of extra time practically until then, and all of that time. And it doesn't, Ugarte does more for the team to help us control it, help us win the ball back, help us get on it. We started doing that thing where we launched it. Even when they went down to a red card, it was the thing that drives me nuts. I'm saying, listen, hold on a second. We were 11-10, and it was like, we didn't realize we need to hold the ball and build up and surround it. And instead it was Bruno and Casemiro kept launching it, and that frustrated me. That's why I say didn't have a good game, because they should have realized when we were up a man, we didn't need to keep going for home run balls. We needed to do what we did in the last 7 minutes, which was surround them and break them down. And we did that, and we scored 3 goals. We finally did that. Occupy the box. Get the men in the box. Get that going. Use your physicality, because we have big players in Casemiro, big players in Maguire, great technical players in Kobbie Mainoo. That's what was pissing me off so much with Casemiro and Bruno from about 85 minutes to 110, is they kept launching the ball down the field when we could have just built up and done what we did at 114 minutes instead of going down, 2 goals. It was stupid. It was stupid play up to that point. So I'm not going to praise that, because I thought that was really stupid play from that moment when we could have just controlled the games, dominated, and not let them get any attacks. Instead, we were throwing it away and allowed them to get 2 more goals. That's crazy to me. Like, that's the shit you can't do. So, that's what colors my opinion on it, because I'm not Nobody's getting off the hook for giving up 2 goals while down 10 men. They do not get off the fucking hook for that. Casemiro, Bruno, they don't get off the hook for doing that. They were shit. They were shit. They gave the ball away like crazy. They were absolutely shit at that point in time. You can't overwrite that. Being up a man and giving away 2 goals because you just can't hold the ball and make simple passes and complete simple passes, you're a shit, and that is shit, and that is unacceptable. So no, I won't say that any of them had a good game in that respect. I think they were pretty poor. I think Bruno had a good first half, and then he was pretty bad in the second half as well. A lot of the passes weren't coming off and things like that. Too. Frankly, if I was to say if there was any player who Jack Fletcher's my guy, but I need to fire whoever registered him before Cheeto. You're right. You're right, Arena. We need to do a academy review next week, by the way, because we're very likely to see a bunch of kids come on in the Premier League now. So it would be a good time to do that and talk through some of the players we're likely to see as well. But yeah, whoever didn't get Cheeto in there and got Jack Fletcher on instead, no offense, but yeah, for sure. But no, if I were to say, did anybody have a good game start to finish? Probably Ugarte when he started to when he came off. And besides that, I don't think anybody, like, I can't say that anybody had a good game. You know what I mean? After that. Because how can you say any of the 11 players had a good game when they let 4 goals in and 2 of them when they were up a man? How can you say that? How? Yoro closest to that because Yoro was incredible. And by the way, I would say that Lenny, his carrying of the ball, his progression of the ball as a wide center back is exactly what we need. And you could see how well it was working in the first half. How aggressive he was with it and how good it was. The progression in this team comes from someone being willing to get on the ball and fucking run with it. You can see that with Lenny. That's what we need from players. We need more people who can do that. That's what we need. And the fact that we cannot get that from more players is a serious problem. And one of the reasons why I still think we might need a center back, because I look at it and I say, who can do the progression that we need for Amorim's system right now? Maguire in the middle and Yoro on one side until Lissandro comes back. We don't have enough center backs who are capable of progressing the ball in the way that Maguire does with his passing and Yoro does with his carrying. We don't have other people doing that. Heaven could be that guy. Kevin could be that guy. We will see. I want to see that more. Shaw, but not anymore. I'm not sure about that. Mazraoui, sometimes it's iffy with him at times. But I still think we need somebody else who can do what they just did because it was fundamental to the whole system working and it carried the team in the first half. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Our system depends on center backs charging up. Yes, it absolutely does. In a 3 at the back system, you got to understand that's the point. When you have more of these defenders, when you have a 3 at the back system, it's not so you can sit back and defend. When you're playing in a good team, it's so those center backs can become marauding midfielders. You know what I mean? That's what you want out of them. You want them to be aggressive, marauding midfielders, getting up the pitch, flying in there, progressing the ball, tackling, getting you forward. Look at what happened before Lissandro got injured. Wins the game against Fulham. He won another game against them with goals by getting into the attack, pressing, winning the ball, getting into the right spaces, and scoring. The whole Amorim system is fundamentally based on a solid base, and as you try to go forward, you're pushing center backs into the midfield, midfielders into the forward line to get an extra man. It's the same way that Ugarte scored, because he becomes the 7th guy in the attack, or the 6th guy, I should say, in the attack. The 3 forwards, the 2 wing backs, and then one of your midfielders attacks it, and then your center back comes up to the midfield. That's what you want. The center backs allow the midfield to come forward. That's what you want. That's how it works. And that's how if you can't do that, it becomes a very defensive system. When you can't do that, it becomes a defensive system, and it starts at the back. It starts at the back. The back has to push into the middle, which the middle pushes into the front, and that's how you make overloads. And that's what we need from Amorim. We need that to happen. That's what's going to make it all work. The 4th Leon goal, what makes me want to vomit? Yeah, it does. It does. Look, I was sick to my stomach when we conceded those two in extra time. Way more than I was even the 2-2, which was heavily disappointing because I was looking at it and saying, it's so unacceptable to concede those goals, you know? Any other forwards in the front three, we win comfortably. Exactly that. Look, here's the thing about it to me that I look at it, and this again I was talking about before the match. The gap between teams is not as big as you think. It never is. The gap between teams in the Premier League is not that big. The gap between teams in Europe is not that big. There's a few teams that pull themselves away from the pack. But the quality of football in general is pretty low right now. And the gap between teams is never that big. You cannot miss chances. You just can't. You can't be missing those types of chances. Lyon weren't missing those chances. Lyon weren't missing their one-on-ones like that, you know? They just aren't. So, yeah, we would easily win if you don't take those chances. If you don't take those chances, the whole state of the game changes. Everything opens up, and the other team is capable of doing them. You need to put them in the dirt to finish games off because you just have to, you know. Yeah. Lyon are much better than most Premier League teams. I don't think that's a fair assessment. Lyon are much better than most Premier League teams. Not all, but most. I mean, it's kind of funny, right? I mean, Lacazette's like a flop at Arsenal, right? But he would have been a good striker for probably 12 Premier League clubs. You know what I'm saying? The quality of it's just interesting. It's all. How do you compare teams? I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, Lyon would probably be in the top 8, I think, for us, or around there. You know, I'd put them at like a Fulham type of level team, something like that. Nico Williams versus Dorgu. I'm not worried about that so much. I'm not worried about that so much. It's not the defensive end that I worry about so much from Dorgu because he's actually been pretty good defensively. It's mostly on the ball, I think, is a bigger issue. The thing is, Nico Williams is not much of a goal scorer. I don't know. We'll see. He also plays on the other side, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to play against Dallo. Nico really hasn't been crazy. Yeah, exactly. So Fulham would absolutely not batter Lyon. I mean, we've played Fulham, we beat them, and we drew to them in the cup in a terrible performance. So it's hard. I don't know how you can say they're much better. Yeah. Dorgu at the back post got caught out time. I don't know. We've done this. I don't disagree with you. We've made this. There was something I noted a few times, which is that our fullbacks keep getting way too tight. They keep getting way too tight when crosses are coming in. We've seen it with Dallo a lot. There's always a man behind him, and we've seen it with Dorgu tonight as well. That there's always a man behind him, and I don't really get that. I don't know what the reason is, but they tend to leave someone free behind them. And it's hurt us many times, but it happens to both Dorgu and Dallo. It happened earlier to Dallo. We nearly conceded on it as well. And I don't know what the reason for that is, why we do that. They tuck in. Yeah, they tuck in really tight, and you end up with, there's a guy, and we have a center back in front of him, and Dallo right behind him, and then there's someone free over here, and it was the same on the other side. So, you know, it was rough. I mean, look, end of the day, Dorgu won 5 out of 9 of his duels and made 4 tackles. Did he have a good game or no? But it wasn't, I don't think it was as bad as people made out. It's just, he's definitely raw. And like I said, though, he's been here 5 minutes. I give him a benefit of the doubt on that. He's been here 5 minutes. He's got to do better. And if he didn't improve, I would be a little worried about it. But you know, if he didn't improve, I would worry. He needs to improve. You know, but he's got time. He's got time, you know, and I think that a lot of players need that time, you know. If you look at it, here's the crazy part, right? Ugarte, no preseason. Manager didn't want him. Dorgu, signed now, gets a red card pretty much right away, and then he's been here 5 minutes, you know? Even De Ligt and Mazraoui barely had a preseason, if any at all. We need to do a lot better. We need to do a lot better. Um, we got to get these guys have a lot of room to grow. But they need a lot more time to settle down, to work into the team, and to get there. And that's what we need to see, and that's what we hope to see um, in the summer. That's what we hope to see, that they get more time with the team. We need to get signings in earlier as well. 100% IR. We've got to get players more time with the team. What did Emram say? Because I missed a couple. I missed this about Mazraoui, and I missed this about Lindelof. Um, Evans in a boot again. He's probably not gonna be back, is he? That's it for him, huh? I didn't see a few things. Let me see. Hold on. Anyway, I don't know. I thought it was Lindelof that had to leave due to personal reasons, not Mazraoui. I thought Lindelof was coming on for Mazraoui, and then Lindelof had issues. And so instead it was Luke Shaw, who was not ready, who was not even cleared to play for 45 minutes. Yes, Emeram did say he will play youth in the league. He says we have to take the risk with the youth players in the league. That's what he said. Yeah, it was Lindelof. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah. It was for Mazraoui, though, so it makes sense. I understand why there might be a confusion there. Um, at least that's the quote that I already saw was that he said Lindelof had to leave. He said there's a personal issue, a family issue. Like, so hopefully he didn't say family. I think he said it was a personal something. So hopefully he's okay. I mean, hopefully everything's okay. I think his wife's pregnant and stuff. So I mean, anyway, hopefully everything's okay. Never love to see that. I mean, if a player leaves in the middle of a game, that's highly unusual and crazy, you know? Yeah, he said personal issue for Lindelof and he had to go. Yeah, so hopefully everything is okay there. Because that is rough. That is rough to hear. Changes things. Changes things. Yeah, look, we need Ahmad back for the next round. We have to. Ahmad's got to work his ass off. Um, um, what am I missing here? Fucking Ahmad. Ahmad is a character, man. What was I gonna say? Um, gosh, what was I gonna say? Oh, on Kabi Manu. Kabi Manu. Like I've said many times, you've heard me on here that everybody wants him to stay and he's going to stay. And I'm really not worried about it, that they're not gonna sell him. You can go look at Sully's tweet there putting about it. That they've had more talks of the contract and another meeting scheduled for next week. Kabi Manu will be here. Kabi Manu wants to stay. He's had, I think, 3 or 4 positive talks with Omar and the club in the last month over getting a new contract sorted, and they're still going. And I really I'm so sure that they will find a solution in the end, and he will stay. And nobody wants him to to leave. So that's the good part. Um, yeah. Whew. Trust me, I know. Kabi Manu has the composure. has everything. Manchester United and still undefeated in the Europa League. The only undefeated team in all of Europe right now still. All right, I got to go home. It's almost 5 o'clock. I got to go home. I got to have dinner. I got to calm down. I got to relax. I appreciate you all. Thanks for hanging out with me today. What a moment. I'm just surreal. It's still surreal. It's still surreal. That whole thing was still absolutely surreal. Everything. Absolutely surreal. So, thank you all for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the game. I'm very happy that we get to keep this going. I was so not ready for this to end, you know, and for us to be sitting here talking about we got no money, we got no Champions League. Who are we going to be buying and spend the next 6 months talking about that? I'm not ready, man. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready. Not 6 months, obviously, because we'll start signing players in June, but I was just not ready to do that. So I'm very glad we get more time. May 8th at the earliest, our season will be still going until then, and now we get to watch some of the kids play on Sunday, things like that, and look at it and say, this is fun. We've got a semifinal to look forward to. We're getting to see the kids have their experience. It's been acknowledged. It's been stated by Ruben Amorim now that that's what we're doing. And so we get to, it's a different world. We don't have to get upset by our results in the Premier League, because it's all about Europe. And it's all about seeing what the kids can do in the Premier League. So I think it'll actually make for a pretty fun end of season. And if we can win the Europa League as well, then, well, guess we'll see. Okay, guys.